Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com. This is Texas Podcast Massacre.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, are my fellow camp counselors, Nate.
If she was any quieter, she'd be dead.
And Lisa. Lisa, you cannot hear Lisa, but she is making a face from this week's movie. Well, welcome back to another episode of...
I should have taken a picture. What a waste of opportunity that was.
We're not quick enough on the draw on that one. Well, welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and debate a horror-related topic with our unsuspecting victim, who's usually someone we would not consider a horror fan. This week, we're kicking off SummerStab, our month-long tribute to summer horror films leading up to SummerSlam. But until then, us three amigos are just us going to camp. Back to camp.
We've already established I'm with Kevin Castle.
Whatever.
I'm never going to camp. Retroactively, and my kid is never going to camp.
Well, we're going to have a fun little discussion about that. I'm not sure.
I'm anti-camp. Firmly anti-camp.
We might. So Lisa, I can't remember have you ever been to a summer camp?
No.
No.
You know why? Because she's alive. That's why, Mitch. If she had been to summer camp, you never would have met her.
I think I said, maybe this was on the Kevin Cass episode. I think I only went to space camp, and most space camps aren't in horror movies. Space camp's different than like camp.
Space camp is like Jason X2. That's in space camp.
That would have been great. We did a simulation on the last day, and we got to keep a video of it. I really wish the simulation was Jason X. That would have been really fantastic.
Yeah. Probably an adult space camp at that point.
The licensing can't be that much.
Well, not anymore. Jason's worthless.
Probably
now.
back then. It probably was. That's how they were able to do it. All right. Well, with that said, we're going to move into this week's debate question.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Okay, so debate question. Now, we haven't had an actual debate in some time. I mean, we've had some, few questions here or there, a little stuff like that, but we've seen, what episode is, I don't even keep track anymore. It's well over 100.
This is episode 111.
Woo, 111. I love it. So we've seen a lot of examples, a lot of data behind this debate. Let me ask y'all something. Which would be the absolute worst? If you're in this horror movie, you're screwed. Is it one that involves an attic, one that involves a basement, or one that involves camp? These are three of the most overused tropes.
Can I add one more?
Sure.
Traveling abroad.
Yes.
Because that has been very recent also.
Sure.
That's a huge one.
All right.
So if you're in a foreign place,
yeah,
attic, basement, camp.
Yes. I think that covers, those are the four main places. Occasionally, I'm even kind of common in the woods as part of the camping. That's,
Yes, I would count that as camping.
So which one's worse? Nate, what do you think?
It's not basement. That's obvious.
But basement's a top two. For
here,
sure.
It's bottom two, if anything. No, I am going to go attic because, I like traveling. So, if something bad happens to me, I'm like, look, I'm going out traveling. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Camp, camp is probably my bottom two because it's like, look, we've all seen every 80s movie that's ever existed. You're going to die at camp. The Burning, Jason, this movie, every other movie that's ever existed at a camp ever. The thing about the attic for me is that you shouldn't be there, right? Like a basement, you probably would go in to do things. Things are stored there. Maybe you have your washer dryer there. Something's going on. Maybe even like a play area, man cave, like a bedroom. The attic there's no reason to be there. So when shit pops off in an attic, you know it's terrible. Like, oh, I hear things in the attic. You can hear things in the basement and go, oh yeah, that's just someone walking around down there. If you hear someone walking in the attic, you go, we are going to be murdered by somebody. And imagine this. In Black Christmas, okay, all the bodies get hid in the attic, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they were in the basement, someone would have seen them. So the attic is for stealth murderers to hide. And remember episode 5, Housebound. The guy just sets up shop in the attic and no one knows for years. Couldn't do that in the basement. So the attic for me.
You came up with the only 2 movies.
I'm just saying
that involve the attic.
Those are 2
versus
movies.
the 80 out of the 111.
No, there's the one. There's a
basement.
bunch of attic ones that have been around.
Nothing bad happens in the attic, and it comes at night. And that whole movie is an attic.
Well, the bad thing that happened was the movie. So you are wrong.
Look, when things go bad, people don't say throw it in the attic. They say throw it down the basement. So we never go see it again.
Wait, what?
Basements are...
Wait, who says... Lisa, have you ever heard anyone say throw it in the basement?
Maybe that's a common phrase.
Wait. Oh my
Maybe
God.
That is a thing that people say.
Maybe...
Well, yeah, Mitch is a person. I'll give you that. No one
I didn't
else.
say which people. I just said people.
No one has ever said this phrase. Never.
It has been said.
Throw it in the basement. What?
Yeah, just dump that in the basement. That's right.
Throw it in the trash.
Well, that's where in the basement with the murders. Lisa.
Oh my God.
I'm on the fence on mine. So Lisa, talk to me. What are you... if you're in that situation, you're like, I'm screwed.
The basement is the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, how is it worse than the attic?
The only way out of a basement is through the door to hell. Okay?
Wait, what is that?
That's it. What was that movie that we saw? With the one?
Slice?
No, not Slice.
That would a
was
portal
it
to hell.
Amityville? No, someone has a red door in their basement, literally to hell.
Amityville did have a hell portal in the basement. That is true.
Yeah.
Bingo.
You're saying okay, so you're saying portals are more likely to be in the basement.
I'm saying you can escape an attic, you can escape camp, and you can escape when you're traveling.
You can escape the attic. The killer knows where you're coming from. The opening to the attic.
But
you can't escape.
No. But you're not walled in. You can get out the window. You can punch your way through the roof. There's plenty of ways.
Does not have a window.
Nate,
basements have nothing.
I think Nate's looking at it as
and
the
basements
killer.
are concrete.
Hold on. My basement had a door that went outside and numerous windows.
You were very lucky. Did that door go to hell?
No, it went just to the ground.
So you had an above ground basement.
No, it was underground, but you just dig out and just have a stairway on the side.
Stairway to hell.
No, it goes upward. The stairway goes up.
The stairway to heaven.
And there's windows. You're actually required to build windows for your basement.
Clearly not in every horror movie we've ever seen in our lives.
Maybe in the older movies now the codes have improved, so basements have gotten.
Because of this, basement codes have been updated.
Have attic codes been updated? No, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so portals to hell more likely in the basement. I'll give you that. They're not in the attic usually. Although Insidious had the attic portal. Ooh. Yes.
I'm trying to remember if it's
yeah. And there's like that. Yeah.
I still basements are the worst.
I mean, look, basements are the devil. They are. I think you're right. They're portable.
Basements are great.
I will give Nate this consensus. Nate's saying attic because his assumption is the killer is in the attic, a la Black Christmas.
Yeah. Or if you get lured to the attic,
saying, "Oh, I'm in the attic," and then he's coming. The person's coming after me. I can get out.
Hold on. How do you escape the attic?
You climb out the window and down the tree. There's always a tree touching the attic window.
Do you guys have an attic, right?
Yeah. Have you
Do
never
you have a window in your attic?
No.
But our insulation area is just drywall straight into the garage. I just punch through, drop in the garage, I'm out.
Look, have you never stepped through the attic and had to have your foot gone through the ceiling?
Yes.
It's not hard to get out
you
of the attic.
You never Clark Griswolded it?
Yeah.
No,
he went straight through into the bedroom below.
I never grizzed it.
Escape.
Well,
that is.
You're not punching your way out of a basement. It's not happening.
All right. So
okay. I'll give you that.
So
but there are windows.
We can all agree. I think a foreign country probably okay. It really depends on the foreign country. And
just don't be dumb.
Yeah.
Well, don't be dumb.
Don't be obvious.
Extra dumb.
Don't be obviously American. I think that's really more.
And don't immediately tell someone, "Oh yeah, I'm staying here by myself for a week."
Yeah. Don't ask anyone for the local sex shop or the local sex place club. You know, that's always how these always.
It should be
out.
obvious. I don't know why you'd be asking anybody.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they advertise.
Wow, Mitch, you travel unwell as far as I'm concerned from that comment. So you going camp? Because I think about the camp is that's why it's bottom 2 for me. Camp is, look, all the people there are dumb. Just like this movie, the adults are dumb. Who is the successful adult running camps? There are some for sure, but there's a lot of not great people running these kids' camps. So bad adults, horny teens, that is just murder waiting to happen in every single film that's ever existed. And then terrible small kids who are bullying each other and being the worst.
Do camps, I'm surprised camps haven't sued the horror movie industry for defamation of camps.
They've all shut down.
There's still camps.
You actually overestimated the murders by 5. So you are wrong. There are no real camps. I don't think there's a Camp Arawak. Maybe there is.
Actually, no, there is.
There's camps.
Is it called Arawak?
I thought it was. I thought it's the same camp the actual director went to.
Well, yeah, but was it named Arawak is what I'm saying. Or do they make separate shirts?
I thought it was, but...
They protect the camps to protect the innocent camp.
Nah. Screw that camp. It's like that Michael Jordan meme. Fuck them kids.
I love how in the 80s, all the camps had to be in the Northeast. Does that impact your guys' rankings of camps? Maybe. Is a camp in the Northeast creepier than a camp in Arizona? Is a desert camp creepier?
Yeah, you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
I think so. You know, I think because
of the forest,
because of the forest, the hills. You know, it's really hard to say. All right, so here's where I
guess the killer can't sneak up on you if it's just sand. Like at least you see the killer.
You're in the middle of the desert.
Okay, see that's okay. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay.
Yeah, so I had it down.
Then
between
it just turns to that. What was that zombie movie with the
Tara Reid movie?
No, the one with the girl and the zombies chasing her through the desert, and it's just them.
It stains the sand red.
Is that what it was called?
No.
I thought the one that just came out recently, like within the past 6 months.
Which movie?
Year. I thought there was one with a girl and she's going through like a desert and there's a zombie and it's just like, no. Okay. I'll look it up.
There's one from like 2 years ago. It stains the sands red, that's exactly the plot.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that one then.
But the zombie never stops. And she was like, well, I'm faster than you, but like I'm in the desert. So I suck.
I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I look at the 4 choices. Attic, I think we've established you have options. It's not the worst situation.
Oh my God. How? There's only one way in.
I would say camp is worse than basement.
Okay.
I would put it camp in terms of worseness. Camp, basement, attic, foreign country.
Okay.
And really because, you know, with a basement, it's a confined space. Maybe you're lucky and you have one of these bougie basements that Nate seems to know about. I've never seen one.
Is this the standard
I've
basement?
only ever seen a basement in horror movies because we live in the South and there's no need for basements because we're below sea level.
But you can't have. You hate what you can't have.
That's
now Now I get it. Now
but
you're jealous.
I feel like you at least can maybe defend yourself. You at least know where the threat's coming from to some extent in a basement. Whereas in camp and woods, who knows? You could be. I mean, hell, look at God. I'm blanking on all the damn names, but the one with all the different creatures where they've touched a different object. You know,
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods.
The movie you literally referenced.
I know.
Earlier
I had a total brain fart.
Okay.
Right, Cabin in the Woods. Yeah, a million things that could have killed you.
Evil Dead. You're out in the middle of nowhere, which is all camps. They should be if they're an actual camp. Yeah, they're coming from every angle. You're the only thing that has electricity. You have no,
Deliverance.
That's kind of camp.
Yeah, it's out in the. It's
the wilderness.
Why do you think I'm always tense during our big canoe trip? We always go. We had that. So
does anyone bring a banjo though?
Well, so one of the first years I went,
if I saw someone,
we have a hatchet that we use for cutting wood.
Oh, sweet Jesus!
And we found a little sandbar where we were setting up camp for the night. And one of the guys just, left the axe outside of the tents, like just sticking out. And before we all went to bed, 2 hillbilly dudes were just rowing in a canoe, like late at night while we're sitting around the campfire and just eyeballing us. And then all they did was
You're lying.
No, this happened. And I'm pretty sure us and one of our friends, me and Nate, maybe looked at each other. I think one of our friends said, yeah, we're all getting murdered tonight.
Yeah.
We left the whole damn hatchet out there. We could have gotten murdered. It was total deliverance. I mean, yeah, terrifying.
Oh, yeah, good.
Terrifying.
You think you're going to die. Just go to sleep. It'll be fine.
You get tired. You drank a lot all day.
I do remember them being creepy. Everyone's creepy in the South.
They look like Tucker and Dale versus
Can I say
Evil,
this?
but
Everyone's creepy in the South.
Everyone's creepy going down a river with a canoe like this.
No.
This was at like 10 o'clock at night. It was like
we are
dark.
not creepy because we are not from there. That's the difference. We can't be creepy if we're not from there. It's like, oh, these guys are just drunk like idiots.
What do you mean? Mitch is from the South.
No. I'm saying from that area. Clearly, we're not from that area where the canoeing was happening. Clearly. These guys are like, oh, yeah, I can just go back to my murder shed real quick, grab some stuff, and then
You're being an areaist.
Area. I watched Deliverance.
Climb out of your ivory basement and get on the same level with the rest of us.
I really need an ivory basement. No, I really need that.
Oh,
Ever since
Christ.
Deliverance, the South has been semi-ruined for me.
But it's not even the South where it happened.
That's why. That's why it's so weird. It's because I drove to the South the day after I watched it in like rural Alabama going to Florida for spring break. And we had to stop because our car had like water underneath it and was like sputtering. And then like, I was like, oh, these people. And it was like, first dude, like, oh, where are you guys from? Like no teeth. I was like, God, I don't want to get stuck here.
Yeah.
If there was a banjo in that town, I would just run. I don't even know what I would do.
I remember going camping in my fraternity. We had a brotherhood annual camping trip, and we were in Kisatchie, I think, which is middle of Louisiana.
Okay.
So we drove down. Well, I got lost. I took a right instead of a left one and I went to go see if I could figure out how to get back to where I'm supposed to go. So I turned into this huge property, a lot of acreage. There's a house off in the distance. And I kind of pull up just right by the front of the gate. I don't pull all the way in or anything, just kind of right there. Kind of step out of my car and wave. And then I see this 4-wheeler coming toward me. Yeah, I'm like, oh, good. They're going to come over and help. The guy that shows up is in a 4-wheeler, no legs.
Oh.
No legs.
Okay.
With a shotgun in his lap.
Yes. That's his leg.
And all he says is, what you want? Like that. And I just said, oh, I'm just lost. How do I get back? How do I get to, and I mentioned, the camp area.
This is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's going to point you toward the house.
No, but listen, he says you back out, take a right this way, and you go down a few miles, take a left, and it'll be right there. I said, thank you, sir. I got in the car, I backed up. I went the opposite way because I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I was not going to get murdered. I did eventually find my way, obviously.
He was telling you the correct way. You lost 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's.
But they weren't waiting for you.
Worth the extra 30 minutes to not get skinned and
no legs,
worn as
with
legs,
a shotgun
with that. Yeah.
Wow, this is prototype Planet Terror.
I mean, this is middle of Louisiana too.
What if he had 2 shotgun legs? She had the machine gun leg.
Yeah, right.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been something.
Lisa is very happy with this conversation.
Well, all right. I think we've settled it. Camps are the worst.
I think I agree, actually.
Yeah. Basements being very close second.
I think Lisa's made attics a little bit better.
Like
I
photo
think your
finish.
percentage of surviving camp is higher than surviving a basement.
I lived in a basement.
Think about how many people
Well, there you
didn't die at camp. versus how many people usually don't die in a basement. In a horror movie.
We need to do camp deaths at horror movies are high.
Because there's a big percentage of people. But if you look at the ratio, there's much less camp death than basement death.
I see. You're saying that camps have a lot of murder, but there's show
like 100
the whole
people
scene.
and 10 people die.
I see.
There's like 5 basement people and 5 people die.
In your example, Amityville Horror, no one died. So that was a Scott-free.
I'm sorry.
Just emotional scars from
there was a basement.
What are we doing? A census survey? Well, the per capita death rate at camps is not quite what it is in basements.
It's the advanced
on
metrics.
Main Street, USA.
It's like calculating like your player efficiency rating in basketball. Now we're going
this is how the
advanced
Madden 20 scoring
kills above replacement. Basements versus addicts.
Oh Christ! All right, well that's gonna wrap it up for the debate. If you think we're wrong, which you probably are, or if you have a different location that you think would be worse than camps, let us know at Texas Podcast Massacre at gmail.com. You can also hit us on the socials at TX Pod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre on Facebook and Instagram. With that, we're going to get into this week's movie of the week, Sleepaway Camp.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at a sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks, and I'm getting very scared.
Welcome to Sleepaway Camp. Someone is watching you.
Hey, Baba, reload!
Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death.
Turn the wheel! Oh my God!
Sleepaway Camp. You won't be coming home.
SummerStab movie number 1, Sleepaway Camp. So I do have to say, and I apologize, I failed you all. I really tried to get my sister-in-law on this episode. So the story about that, I don't know if I mentioned it, is that apparently she and her brother, when they were young, they were staying with their dad, and he went to the video store, you know, like you've always kind of mentioned, like the Albertsons one, with like, where they just have all the different just covers. They don't really tell you anything about what the movie is. So he just started grabbing a bunch of movies that had camp in the title of them.
Yeah.
Not really paying attention to what they were.
Some Sleepaway Camp has a shoe with a knife through it. I'm looking at the thing right
I don't think they saw the cover.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's one of those ones where
if
it's
it just said like printed out Sleepaway Camp 1983 under it and they grabbed
that's what I think about it. So he brings his kids this movie, several movies. So they're watching it. So they have no idea what they're walking into. She has since said it has scarred her for life. She can't even barely talk about it. We tried,
just like Angela in this film. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have tried for 2 years now to try to get her on this show for this. Not happening, and we couldn't wait. It's summer.
It is SummerStab. This is one of the quintessential summer horror films of all time.
So if you're listening, sister-in-law, why have you forsaken us? But it's all right.
Stepsister.
Now that I've seen it, I can see why it traumatized her.
I understand why it traumatized her.
Yeah.
This movie's great.
So Nate, what can you tell us about this movie?
This movie is fantastic. It came out November 18th, 1983. Tight 84 minutes. They barely had enough in the movie. Half the movie, reaction shots. The other half, the film. That's half of what happens there. I recommend everyone stop the podcast if you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp. It's only 84 minutes of your life. And if you want to watch the sequel and the third one, all of them are on Amazon Prime.
Are there 4?
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But the first 3, which I've seen, of course, are all on Amazon Prime. Definitely check them out, then come back. There are 6 taglines for this film, and I want to get your guys' opinion on the best one. ... You won't be coming home. They're all so good. Sleepaway Camp has never been so scary. A Nice Place for Summer Vacation. A Perfect Place to Die. A Perfect Place to Meet Young Girls. Gross. Might just be the perfect place to die. Carrie meets Friday the 13th, and You Will Go There in a Bus and Come Home in a Box.
Oh, that's the best one. That last one's the winner.
I saved the best. I saved the best one.
The other ones are.
They are terrible.
No, but that last one's.
We'll get into
not
the
bad.
young girls part of this movie. Holy shit. IMDb 6.3, which seems higher than this movie maybe deserves, but it is a cult classic. Made for $350,000, made over $11 million in the box office. Surprise hit. The director is Robert Hiltzig. Here is his entire credits for his entire career. He wrote and directed Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp, 1988, Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, which is hilariously bad. Based on it, he was under a writer as based on an original idea by him. 1989's Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland was also based on an original idea by him, and he was uncredited for the characters. Sleepaway Camp 4, The Survivor, he wrote the characters for 1992, and in 2008, Return to Sleepaway Camp, he wrote that. That is his entire movie career.
Jeez.
This is really
disturbing.
a passion project for him.
He is now self-employed as a lawyer.
He was really working through some shit about his going to camp
He
experience.
probably had to deal with a lot of lawsuits just filming the films. He's like, I might as well just take the bar. Like, I've had to go through. I've been like, all these child actors are just suing me. I might as well just learn about it. Is that not the strangest thing you've ever heard? That's all this guy has done is Sleepaway Camp. That is nuts to me. That's insane.
He's really, really big on this franchise. Just give it a chance.
The main actress in this movie is Felissa Rose. She was on Joe Bob's last drive-in revival on Shudder last year. IMDb says she has 14 films either in pre-production, filming, or post-production at this time. 14 films. She is in every low-budget horror film that exists. That's like one level below the horror films we might watch.
Yeah.
So we probably won't ever watch any because they're like C-list ones.
Yeah.
But she's working. She didn't really do much acting after, like, for the first, like, maybe, like, she was in a few things maybe until like the early 2000s. And then she just started doing every movie that's ever existed. She's performed in numerous off-Broadway productions that were directed by her ex-husband, who was a CKY band member. I know that's your favorite band of all time, CKY.
Oh, jackass.
Including the world premiere of Phone Sex, the, I'm assuming off Broadway production, Phone Sex.
Yeah, at what point, how far away did it to be before it's not even called off Broadway, it's just off?
Off Long Island presents.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. She is in so many films. She's filming a film now called Camp Terror. So she's going back to camp in not one, but two films. Also post-production in Camp Twilight. She's going back to her roots. She's in a film that's coming out in 2020 called Mike and Fred vs. the Dead. So very Tucker and Dale.
No.
There is literally every movie that's ever existed in here. She's in a movie just called Brian the Rom-Com.
I mean, straight to the point.
Garlic and Gunpowder. Lisa, what do you think? Garlic and Gunpowder?
Alliteration.
Sure.
She was in Victor Crowley. I take that back. That's actually a movie. But then she followed it up with Swamp Freak. And she was in Tales of Halloween too. Shit. She was in some stuff. Jurassic City. Camp Dread. How many camp movies? There's so many. She was in a movie called Dahmer vs. Gacy.
She's been typecast.
Dahmer vs. Gacy. I'm sure it was tastefully done.
Why? Yeah. Who was asking for that?
Caesar and Otto's Summer Camp Massacre. I didn't count the number of camp movies before I started this, which was a mistake. She's been in at least 8 camp films. Yeah, so that is the main actress. The director, Robert Hiltzig, you mentioned it before we started recording. The guy actually went to the camp used in the film. So that had to have been a nice homecoming for him. The guy dedicated the movie to his mother, and if it's anything like the mother in this movie, holy shit. Judy was originally going to be played by
Jane Krakowski.
Jane Krakowski from 30 Rock and Kimmy Schmidt. I think she would have nailed it, first of all. There is a reboot planned, but I could not find any updates about it. Yeah. I think it's still in the works. There is a documentary in 2020 coming out about the film just called Angela. So if you want to, of course, I'm going to watch that. I can report back on how good it is. I'm assuming it's great. That Felissa Rose is going to be an executive producer. Lisa, how much money would it take for you as a young girl to be the lead in this movie? Because I want to see how much it compares to what she was actually paid for.
Yeah. I watched the Joe Bob. Is that his name?
Yeah.
So I know how much she got paid.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
How much was it?
Didn't she say $5,000?
It was $5,000.
Whew, that is not enough.
In 1983. So it was like.
Well, she got more than I can't say it's too spoilery.
Yeah.
But she got more than a certain someone we'll be talking about later.
Yeah, but a certain someone was in it for like 2 seconds.
That's true.
Oh, a lot more of him was in it than. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
A lot more. Not actually a little more.
We'll get into that. It was cold.
Snap.
We'll get into that. It was cold. That's the movie. Let's get it. Let's get into this. Lisa, as unsuspecting victim, give us a synopsis of this movie. The world's greatest mom. I'm just gonna start with that.
Person who undergoes great childhood trauma goes back to the spot of the trauma to attend camp.
Okay. Yeah, it's like Jennifer Lopez in Enough. That's what you just.
Okay, sure.
No Enough fans. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about this childhood trauma. So this movie opens up with these 2 kids, Pete, or is it Peter? Pete, I guess.
Yeah, Peter and Angela.
And Angela and their dad. And what you come to find out is her dad's lover.
Yes, on the beach. They're playing a little sailboat.
Yeah. And they capsize themselves, like little scamps,
This is my biggest pet peeve. This is my
scamps.
biggest pet peeve of all time. Tipping over things for other people. Mitch, I'm looking right at you. I'm looking right at you.
Not understanding why you're looking at me.
Mitch has tipped himself numerous times and attempted
But
to tip
that's himself.
to tip
First
me.
off, that sounds a lot worse.
Yeah, but you deserved it.
I did not deserve it.
I did not ram you in the canoe. That was our other friend who was
the closest person
steering
when the canoe hit my canoe. Who was literally right next to me?
When you're in with the way canoes work is the one up front is
you're explaining.
Hold
on, you're explaining canoes to me. Hold on,
I have to because apparently you don't understand that it wasn't my fault. You got rammed.
Anyway, but no, that is one of my biggest pet peeves.
Nate's just pissed because he decided to wear jeans that day. Because he's like, oh, we're almost done, so I guess I'll be fine. And then he went in.
I was fine.
I also knocked Nate's speaker underwater, which is really funny.
that was insult.
I tried to reach for it with my oar, and I ended up just
pushed it under.
just blub.
Mitch
just little bubbles
on the water. Mitch is like Tucker Davis Ever. He's like he's an inadvertent serial murderer. But no, that is one of my biggest pet peeves ever. Is just flipping over things for no reason. I've always hated it, and you get what. You reap what you sow. If you tip over something, you deserve to die. In my book. That's what you get, kids. That's what you get.
So for kids, there's really only 2 strikes. Eating forks and tipping over
Chewing
boats.
on forks for a long time, breaking them, and tipping over things in the water on purpose. That's it. That's it. If you don't do that, we're totally fine.
Now, what do we say about...
then they get murdered.
Well, I was going to say, what do we say about the teens that are driving the speedboat
It's like, well, if I let you drive the speedboat, I'll lose my job. And then she's like, but I'm kind of cute and we're all horny. And he's like, well, okay. Now, I don't know if I'd ever let someone drive a boat who didn't know how to turn a wheel.
Right.
That becomes a problem.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? The steamroller scene.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like, turn.
Yeah. Just turn. Push he could have pulled the motor out of the water to slow down. You know, there's a number of things he could have done. And instead he just went faster.
Well, she hit it.
She hit it. She went faster.
Yeah. Do you want to go faster?
Here's the thing. Listeners, I don't know what your boating experience is, but most of the time the power is literally it's push up for fast and back for slow.
That's universal. Airplanes, everything.
It is the most intuitive device. and no one's mind should pushing up mean
intuitive
break.
Wheels. Like I have a small child who can get a wheel and it's like start turning it. This girl did not do any of that. So Lisa, how do you feel about just child and parent murder in the first 4 minutes of the movie?
Not thrilled.
Not thrilled about it? Okay.
Especially since the capsize was so fake. Because you see the actors just go stand behind the dad and then they're just like, whoa. I'm like, what? Why? What?
Although all these accents are terrible, right?
Oh man. Every city and region in the Northeast is represented in this movie. That's kind of like how The Burning was too. Anyway, so murder. Just kids inadvertently kill a dad and one of the kids. So then the other kid, Angela, goes to. Can we talk an hour and a half about this mom? Can we just talk an hour and a half?
The aunt or whatever? Yeah.
They wouldn't like that.
No, I don't believe they would. Or I don't believe that would do.
I almost forgot, but I tied a string around my finger. Oh, what would it be about? Oh, I remember. It's like, what? I wrote, this is a community theater version of Much Ado About Nothing, but she's the only one who had the lines.
She's a doctor though, so.
Because the son's like, Mom, what are you doing? Like he's talking normal. Like I thought, okay, we're opening in Shakespearean, we're opening an iambic pentameter, and then we're going from there. No, this lady was off doing her own thing inside of a totally separate movie. Mitch, Mom and Troll 2 versus this aunt. Who do you have?
I mean, in what am I?
Who is more batshit crazy?
Ooh.
We haven't done Troll 2 yet somehow in this show. I have no idea.
I know that is shocking.
It's on the list. Don't worry, Lisa. On the list.
I don't know. I think
I went to bed early that night, and I'll go to bed early again if we ever do Troll 2.
This woman seems like the winner, if only because she's not surrounded by equally batshit crazy people like in Troll 2. In Troll 2, everybody's batshit crazy.
She's insane, but the contrast is slightly less.
Right.
Okay.
And in terms of relativity, everyone else is about that level of insane as well. Because the dad is equally insane in Troll 2.
He's a down-to-earth, salt of the earth.
When I get hungry, I pull my notch up one more, pull my belt up one more notch.
Yeah.
No, oh God.
You never had hunger pains? That's okay.
We need to do that movie.
This mom is insane.
Yeah.
Go on, if you're not going to watch the movie on Amazon Prime, which you should. You just watch the first 15 minutes. That's all you need to see the mom.
Well, by the time you watch 15 minutes, you're almost halfway through the movie.
That's true. Or just go on YouTube and search Sleepaway Camp Aunt and just get ready for just batshit crazy insaneness. The director, this is his first movie. The director didn't tell her to act like that.
Yeah.
Like who's the director going, okay, act like you're in a community play where you're playing a syphilitic person who's 80 and your mind is shot, and then talk like that.
Well, let me ask you both. I mean, do you think this was just a one take and done, or do you think this is just the best they got out of her? Like,
it's the best they got.
Oh, you think there's a lot of takes?
Oh, yeah.
We've only got enough budget to do this scene give it 5 tries.
I really wanted a girl, but when my husband left me, because I'm a straight insane person, I I didn't think I'd ever have a chance to do that. But now my little Angela, I think it means angel, is here and we'll have such a great time.
Yeah, we're all very uncomfortable right now. everyone listening, everyone in the studio.
I think I just beat that lady at her own game, acting wise.
Jesus. So let's move on to we can't move on, but okay. I know we get away from the aunt though. She sends us to camp. All right. So first off, I mean, this is pure 80s camp, and I mean that dual meaning.
Camp Arawak.
I mean, the boys are wearing the shortest shorts you've ever seen.
Yeah.
The girls have the biggest hair you've ever seen.
They have big hair.
They all have big hair. And the counselors are the creepiest you've ever seen.
The cook in this movie could be the grossest person I've ever seen in a film.
Really bad.
That has not the grossest person I've ever seen on film that hasn't physically molested a child.
How many films have you seen?
I don't know. There's films where people are molesting people, then there are bad people who get caught usually.
Yeah.
This guy on that side of that dividing line, he is the creepiest person on film.
Yeah, when he refers to them as baldies.
Oh.
That was really bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as too young. That's a quote. That's a quote from this character.
Yeah. I mean, say what you want about R. Kelly, and most of it should be bad, but at least, you know, he
tried to get her in the closet.
At least he had a little tact, you know. He didn't answer and say it. He was just like, define teenage.
No, he said there's no such thing as too young.
Yeah, but no, even then they were asking him, what do what are their teenage? Well, define teenage. Define love. Define, it's like
teenage at 14.
Yeah.
The one with teen in the number.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I wrote the sexual attitudes in this movie are so problematic that Good Will Hunting couldn't solve it. That's probably the best way to describe it. Yeah. Lisa, what do you think?
Yeah, it's really
was it?
There's a lot, and it's not just him, right? It's the owner with that other girl, and
ooh, Meg.
Yeah,
I looked it up. There is a relationship between, what is she, 17, 18?
Probably.
Yeah.
Between 16 and 18 somewhere. The actor, when this movie came out, was 61. He looked about 75.
Right.
And he acted like he was 110 and just like, oh, I remember when women couldn't use the bus.
Jesus.
That was basically
the best
this guy.
impression you've ever done, Nate.
Thank you. Thank you. It was gross. It was just real gross.
This guy sounds like he's lived in his ivory basement all his life.
Even the kids are super pushy and gross. It was just real gross.
All of it
Everyone
is gross.
was gross. Oh.
Could you find how old the actress Judy was?
How old Judy was?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were able to find Angela and her cousin, but we could not find Judy.
And Ricky. Okay.
Judy to me looked way older than Ricky.
Well, I do love that Jane Krakowski reportedly looked at the script, got to the end, and was like, "I'm good.
I don't want to get murdered in a terribly brutal way."
Yeah. While you're looking that up, let me ask you this about Mel, who's the camp owner, creepy old man. I wrote it if they are going to remake this movie, if they haven't filmed or if they're still looking to do that. I would think Nick Kroll of his Oh Hello.
She was supposed to be 15.
Supposed to be 15. Of her Oh Hello, of the Oh Hello character. What's the name of it? Lisa?
Gil
Faison as Mel.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Would be incredible. Yeah, come on. Nick Kroll would crush.
Nick Kroll would crush this. I 100% agree.
And then you could have Louis C.K. as the cook. Be true to life.
It's too on the nose.
Yeah,
it's too on the nose.
Fair.
So I just want to point out this film has the main character not speak for over 30 minutes.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Have you ever seen a movie where the main character has not spoken, but has had dozens of lines spoken to them?
You know what was funny though?
I can't think of a movie where this has happened ever.
I didn't even realize it till they pointed it out.
Huh?
The Patriot. The only movie I can think of.
Oh, that's true.
That one little girl doesn't say a damn word.
She's not the main character of the whole film. That's Mel Gibson not saying any words for 30 some minutes. And in terms of the Patriot, what was that Patriot? Like 2.5 hours? 30 minutes is almost half of this movie. So that would be Mel Gibson having hundreds of lines yelled at him for an hour and a half and not talking. It's impossible. I've never seen it before. It was 31 minutes until the main character had a line in the film.
It didn't bother me.
And the line was "Good night."
Good night.
She said in her interview with Joe Bob, she said that when that guy's talking to her, the guy that she likes, that they're like, all right, you have to look engaged. You have to look interested and engaged. You can't say anything though. So she was like,
her eyes are piercing. Kind of almost Bran-esque. Did Bran watch Sleepaway Camp to get his influence?
Bran has way less expression than Angela.
Yeah.
No, she has a pretty her stare is like through you.
Yeah, she did a great job staring.
Yeah.
She did do.
I thought she earned those $5,000. So like, can you just stare and like, oh wow, okay, we found her.
Well, look, so most of the camp activities, I mean, are pretty boilerplate. Did you have a favorite, Nate, of the camp activities that they do? They have a movie night. They have an inexplicably long baseball game in the middle of this movie.
Can we talk an hour and a half of this baseball game?
That's about how much of the movie it took up. So,
God.
I thought we were watching The Sandlot for a little bit.
Yeah, this was Sandlot, like the Sandlot prequel, or like a real bad.
Did they ever get paid though?
Who?
Yeah, they were supposed to get $5
a head.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone hated each other so aggressively for no reason at this camp. I just could not get over how much everyone hated each other.
It was ridiculous.
One kid in that baseball scene was just playing on like a handheld video game.
A Game Boy.
Still made the catch.
Yeah.
MVP of the movie for me. I think that kid lived.
Yes.
Hard.
Yeah, he just got shaving cream to the face.
Well,
now,
and he got his face in someone's bare ass too. Let's not forget that.
Oh yeah, it was double.
That guy actually, Mozart.
That guy was actually getting bullied during the movie, and they had to break it up.
Seriously?
Yeah. So the knife pull could have been real.
He had enough.
They were just like filming. He just took the knife, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna keep that.
We can run with this."
And they're like, "All right, well, that's your scene. You're done."
So the first thing that happens in the film, you just see hands from the killer for the whole film until the very end.
You see their head.
Well, but it's mostly you mostly see the hands. Like when the first guy gets boiled, which was, first of all, very fitting.
Yeah, that one you
He literally
but
tried to rape a girl within her being at the camp for like less than an hour in a freezer.
Well, technically, it was a few days. I think they mentioned.
Oh, was it a few days? Okay.
Because she hadn't eaten in a while.
Oh, that's okay. That's
why
correct.
that's why they brought her back there.
Sorry. Okay. Oh, he waited 2 days to try to rape her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that was
some restraint.
Classy guy. He's like, "Oh, I'll make you an ice cream sundae," as he was taking his belt off. God, I hated this guy. Anyway, he gets boiled, and it is brutal.
Yeah, it lingers.
Scalding hot water, like what size?
60
pot?
gallons.
What size pot is all this boiling water?
Oh.
How long did that take to boil?
Exactly.
Like 8,000 years?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I told Mitch, I was like, this pot would have taken days to boil.
I mean, you maybe with like,
well, no
like
wonder
a jet engine. Just
no wonder she hadn't eaten in a few days.
Yeah, the water was still boiling.
No food.
I have to make 70,000 pounds of pasta, or I can't make any. This guy gets burned, and it is rough. His face is pulsing from the boils.
How was he going to drain that pot?
And when they... Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No, these are concerns that I need to know.
And then when he's getting carted out, ostensibly like an hour or more later, because it's pretty remote, he's still screaming.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, Nate, there was no pain medication known to man that could have.
I think he passed out
it.
like 5 times and still woke up and was still in that much pain. That guy is basically dead, right? Is he Cropsy? Is he the new Crop? Okay, who do you got, Cropsy or this guy? Who had it worse? Probably Cropsy.
Cropsy didn't seem to have deserved it.
Okay, so Cropsy is better.
Right. And so by that, he didn't, I don't get the sense that Cropsy deserved it. Whereas this guy was like, no one is like, oh, how horrible when this guy got boiled alive.
The Mel guys is like, don't tell the kids.
Who's Cropsy? Why
The
don't I
Burning.
remember?
The Burning?
Which one was The Burning?
We did it with Kevin Castle.
Yeah.
The campers.
Where they have where they do the skull.
He has
and
the shear,
the garden shears.
Garden shears.
Oh, Cropsy.
Oh, that crop. I was thinking of another Cropsy.
Oh.
And yeah.
Oh god.
111 episodes, people. It runs together.
Well, so let's move into all the kills because there's a number of them. Some are much better than others. Lisa, was there a particular kill that
there's
stood out for you?
Quite a few. Like 10, 11 murders.
The boiling one was good.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worse because it wasn't a kill? Like that guy will probably be blind and like disabled for the rest of his life.
But wasn't it? Because then he could have just immediately told them who it was.
I don't think he could function. Like he couldn't talk.
But you think he would have bounced back?
I think he probably lost his eyes, like his vision and everything.
So you think he never actually saw who it was?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, he saw who it was.
He did see who it
because he was talking to.
Well, give him like 8,000 years and then he'll be able to.
But if he can't see, he can't like identify him in the lineup.
I guess so. I don't know.
Like that one girl I took to the back.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, that's
so
tough.
we had that. We had the bees. We had the knife in the spine. The canoe. The
water snake.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when they flipped the canoe over.
Don't flip things over in the water.
That was crazy.
The one girl was like, I hate you. I'm swimming away.
That's basically what happened when you flipped.
I know. I was like, I hate you, bitch. And I swam away. This person deserved to be straight murdered. And it happened. But the
one that
snake.
upset me the most was the kids in the sleeping bags.
Yeah, that
because I asked Mitch, I said, wait, what did they do? And he's like, they threw sand at the murderer.
Yes,
and I was like,
correct.
So they
throwing sand, stabbed in your sleep in sleeping bags.
Not stabbed, attacked with a hatchet. Again, stop leaving hatchets out in plain sight at your campsites.
Or if you're going to take 2 kids back, take them all back.
They're sleeping nicely. Okay, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? What could go wrong after there had already been campers dying at the same camp? And that is the crux.
Can we, look.
That's the crux of the movie.
80% of the camp leaves. 20%'s like, we'll be all right.
No, the 20%, those parents are like, look, we're in Europe and we're not coming back for another week or two.
That aunt is probably the least responsible parent that's ever existed. Like, I bet the aunt's like, oh, I didn't buy groceries for 5 weeks. Like that's this lady. Well, I didn't buy groceries for 5 weeks.
If she doesn't tie a loop around her finger, she doesn't remember to pick up her kids.
She tied a loop around her finger and then she almost didn't remember what the loop meant. She's the worst. So I'm assuming she was not going to pick them up.
Well, Dave, what was a kill that stood out for you?
I mean, we got to get into the curling iron because it's got.
So Judy is just a horrendous bitch.
She is Rachel McAdams, Mean Girls.
Yeah. Tries to steal her Angela's boyfriend.
Successfully makes out with her quasi boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, gets her thrown in the water and she can't swim.
Yeah, and she also had her dad and sibling die in the water.
Yeah,
right next to her. Probably not a fan of water. That's reasonable, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just a bitch to her the whole time.
Yeah, and so
her death is rough. Is real rough. She's mean to everybody, to be honest. Anyone could maybe want to kill her if they're already killing other people for way less stuff. She gets a curling iron inserted into her.
Yeah.
And then killed that way while her hands and arms curl in massive pain.
Yeah. Now
that is gross.
It's not. Now I'll say this for unsuspecting victims. This one actually isn't very explicit in terms you don't actually see. I mean, they do the cutaway and then there's they do silhouettes type of thing. So
this girl's also supposed to be 15.
Yeah. But yeah, this painful. I would say.
Wow.
Lisa, where did this?
Yeah, where does this rank in terms of?
I don't even want to think about it.
It
was very brutal.
It's down there. It is
Very
way
brutal.
down.
Now, look, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the bees.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
Right? I mean,
Not the bees.
Not the bees.
That kid really missed an opportunity. He was like the male Judy, though. That guy.
This kill is dumb. This
kill is impossible.
First off, that's not how bees work.
That's not how bees work.
There would not be 10,000 bees in that
When
one
you're
time.
right, you're right.
Yeah.
Now the bee kill, they had a face, like a fake face made,
yeah.
and they put sugar on it. So the bees are like, "Oh, sugar, hell yeah!" The kill is the thinnest, like broom I've ever seen handle ever. Like the thing's like a half inch or like 3/4 of an inch around. The flimsiest thing probably to break ever. Cuts a hole in the screen for the toilet area, and then just like puts a honeycomb down. How many bee stings conservatively do we think we see on this guy's body?
Oh,
like
a
hundreds.
billion, yeah.
Hundreds
it's
of bee
bad.
stings. That's not how bees die when they sting you once.
Yeah.
There was not like hundreds of bees.
So you're saying there wasn't enough dead bees?
Yeah, there was almost no dead bees.
Yeah.
Yeah. This would have been better had it been wasps.
Yeah, hornets. Like
Ooh.
a hornet's nest. You can't like put sugar for hornets because then they just keep stabbing you forever.
Yeah.
at least when the beekeeper guy comes in, look, if they stab me, they're dead. So it's not so bad.
Yeah.
The hornets just keep stabbing you. That's the only time I've ever been stung. Is by hornets.
SummerStab.
Yeah, summer stung.
Well, yeah. So okay,
Hornets suck. I just kind of throw that out there. I'm
Let's put it.
not a fan.
now SummerStab. Let's talk about Meg getting stabbed in the shower.
The Meg.
There's always a shower kill in any camp horror movie.
This one was rough.
It was rough, but man, they could slice in a straight line.
The thing about scoliosis is that without surgery to repair it, it won't get fixed. This is just amateur scoliosis repair.
Did
surgery.
you also know that I was there?
Oh yeah,
Lisa here.
Yeah, you was there.
I was there.
WUZ.
Yeah.
That's. Can you claim that, or do you still claim that?
Yeah, I was there.
Like Lisa's the killer. Like that would. Like that's like.
And I just write it on the wall.
There's a cop who comes when the first kid drowns.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
That has a mustache. Later
that mustache is the fakest.
No, well, what? No, when he first goes there, it's real. The guy shaved, then had to come back for reshoots. It is pasted on at the end. After 100 kids have died, then he's like the most, and they do a close up
And it looks
dialogue
awful.
shot, and it is like, can you describe what it looks like? It's so fake.
It's really
it
bad.
looked like a bunch of like those really thick fake eyelashes just like glued on.
It's like if you made black frosting and then like kind of smeared it on your face.
Yeah.
Like it was like glossy.
You know how
I can't even
you know
describe
how
how bad
sometimes
it
you
was.
order carrot cake and they have the little like little plastic green looks like plant inserts they put on the cake. It's like that but black all down his mouth.
It is.
Realistically, how long would it have taken him to grow it back?
This movie filmed in like a few weeks. Like it was not.
So not worth it.
Yeah, longer than that probably. That's just that was a tangent. For the kills though, yeah, the bees, the scalding, people just getting stabbed. Any other?
What I loved about the at least,
and there's a decapitation.
well, look, yeah, like what I loved about Meg getting killed is that not so much the kill, but that it sent Mel into a murderous rampage to kill the kid he thought was doing it.
She has a date night with a guy over 40 years older than her, who, and the thing is, he looks terrible.
Yeah.
He looks, Gil Faison is like Fabio
I
compared to this guy.
don't
I
even
mean, this guy looks, his mouth is as wide as his face.
I don't even understand what she's.
I didn't
why?
understand the point either.
You had Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, as one of the camp counselors. The guy had like more muscles in his face than like most people's bodies.
Yeah.
Try to hook up with that dude. He was one of the most reasonable guys at the camp. Nah, I gotta go for the lecherous old man who will cover up child murders. That's the guy I'm gonna take a shower for to get cleaned up and nice for my date at his cabin. Oh,
yeah,
I hated it.
I bet he's the kind of guy that would prefer no shower beforehand. If I'm just venturing a guess. But listen,
Lisa, what do you think about Mel? Just give me like a.
Oh, he was the creepy. He was more creepy to me than that killer.
Oh yeah, I think Mel,
way more creepy.
Mel is.
Well, look,
in that canteen, you don't get to go to the canteen for a week. First of all, for a week, how long are these kids at summer camp?
This camp is
the
7
whole
months.
Summer.
This camp is 7 months.
Second of all, that was the camp. That was the hot spot. That shack where they had a little snack bar.
Love Shack, baby.
Yeah.
Love
Where are these
Shack.
kids where they have like a full hoodie? They are in sleeping bags and like, I'm cold. Maybe they were there. Maybe they were there into the fall. Like they were just.
They
abandoned.
might have been.
These are the abandoned children
camp.
of the Northeast at this point.
Oh my god.
I don't know. They were people were murdered and died in accidents, quote quote, and like they were still there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Mel's just like, oh, don't tell the cops. It was an accident. After the first kid, well, I don't know. I'm not running a camp. I don't know how the logistics are, but most of the time when people die, you probably don't want more kids hanging around the same area.
So I think it's fair to say that while these kills are, varying levels of good and shocking, this movie up to this point really isn't a whole lot different than almost any other camp horror film.
Some of the kills are pretty inventive.
They're pretty inventive, but I mean, in terms of the plot points, the story, I mean, this is straight up.
Well, I don't know. Main character doesn't talk for 30 minutes.
Okay.
That mom. Oh my god.
Let's get into the coup de grace.
Let's get into.
Can I say it?
Well, let's get into there's just real fast the relationship. Mel thinks that Ricky is the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that Ricky's the murderer. So he basically ape punches. He ape slams with both of his hands onto a 14-year-old child until he's basically brain damaged and unconscious.
Yeah,
but not dead. Angela's going off with Paul, who made out with Judy, and Paul was like, she went from not saying words for multiple days to making out with somebody in about 8 minutes in movie time, which is interesting.
Well, someone was finally nice to her.
That's true. Then he betrayed her by making out with Judy because she was a prude because she wouldn't take her shirt off or something when they were making out. And these people were like 13 or 14, which is real gross also. Yeah. So then she's like, all right, Paul, I will take you back at the end, right? Essentially, while this shit's going down. So Lisa, I don't know if you wanted to.
Okay. So let me preface, let's back up just for 1 second here and come at this from an unsuspecting victim point of view. Most of the stuff in here is routine, as Mitch said, standard camp kills. Nothing too crazy. Nothing really that gory. I guess the canoe thing is kind of the most gory.
Mel gets shot through the neck with an arrow.
But it's still not that gory. It's pretty clean shot.
Maybe the boiling.
The boiling is rough.
Okay, so there's a few scenes of kind of rough stuff. For the most part, I think most people could probably handle it. It's campy enough.
It's a lot of kids getting murdered.
However, let's talk about this ending, because the whole movie, I was telling Mitch, oh my gosh, this movie's awful. This is horrible.
Kids are getting stabbed in their sleep.
Ever watch this? It's not good. It's no Friday the 13th.
Sure.
It's no Friday the 13th.
The dialogue is somehow much better in Friday.
There's a lot going on. There's a weird baseball game. I don't know. I wasn't
15 dudes'
loving
butts at once? You didn't like that part of the movie?
I wasn't loving it. Then the reveal happens and I was like, oh my gosh, I know why my sister-in-law has been traumatized all her life.
So describe this ending.
All right. So Angela asks, I forgot his name, Paul, to meet her down by the beach.
Yeah.
Said, come on, let's go for a swim.
Down by the beach.
He says, we have no swimsuit. She says, no problem. We'll skinny dip.
And he's like, Finally, you're not being such a
yes,
prude. Jeez.
you got on board. Let's do this. So they start getting undressed.
Yeah.
And then you start getting flashbacks of the aunt
Yeah. With her
talking to the child who survived
boating accident. in
the
beginning.
boating accident, saying she never had a daughter and she always wanted a daughter. And Peter can be that daughter.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun. So they rush down to the beach to find Angela and Paul. Singing.
Well, at first.
Angela, they're both naked. Angela's cradling Paul, assumingly. Then in a crazy, what seems like it happens in 2 seconds.
And I think it's important to note that Angela is a real carpenter's dream and that she's flat as a board and needs a screw.
That is a Judy quote. Yes.
Yes.
This movie.
Please.
Okay. Stands up with Paul's head and it's really
Decapitated.
Peter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But the face that they
the
make.
face
and
is the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
They had a guy who's the stand-in for her because the hands you see are a guy's hands.
Yeah.
So she's obviously the actress is female. So they had the guy. So that was a kind of a throw off. You might think it is Ricky because he was pissed at everybody for picking on her.
And
his
actually,
cousin.
in the scene with Judy,
Yeah.
when the killer, you actually finally see the whole killer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh,
It looked
I
like
think
Ricky.
it's Ricky.
It looked like him.
Yeah.
Family resemblance.
Mhm.
Because you see her face is turned like she's Godzilla. I can't even describe the face. And then you see some straight junk.
Yeah.
And they had a dude do that, and he wouldn't do the scene until he was drunk. And then they got that shot.
Makes sense.
But Mitch
Which
said,
makes total sense.
Mitch said, that's a mask.
Yeah, it was a mask.
That is the most
there was a
realistic
zoom in.
mask
No, there was
I've
a
ever
zoom
seen.
in.
That's actually her.
That's her, and then the zoom out with the
okay.
junk is the mask,
I
which
can't-
looks not very.
I
real.
can't bring myself to watch it again, so I'll take your word for it.
And not only that, the face is through like the credits.
That's what I was just gonna say. It doesn't go away.
And in the credits, there's a guy, Frankie Vinci. He wrote 3 original songs for this movie, and it's called like Angela's Theme.
Yeah.
And it is like a pop, upbeat, synth 80s song, which could not fit the movie any less possibly than it did.
Did they ask him to
What
write
did
this
it?
music, or did he just he was just on the
Hey,
set?
I'm trying to
and
get my
was just
mixtape. I'm trying to get my mixtape.
I'm inspired.
Oh, Angela's Theme. Yeah, it's about love and loss and whatever. It's like, no, it's about murder, decapitation, and now I don't know how I feel about she was a boy, so now she's murdering everybody. I don't know how I feel about that part of it, but what a reveal.
What would be a better
Wow.
song, Angela's Theme or Dude Looks Like a Lady? Both equally inappropriate for the tone of this movie.
It should have been NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye. It should have been a Paul Wall song. That's what it should have been.
Boo.
Now,
See, and I think I
This
should
is-
have called it because early on when they first show Angela, and I'm like, oh, okay, the little girl survived. Mitch goes, yes, and her brother's name is Peter. And I was like,
nice.
I mean, I
Nice.
guess Mitch has just seen this a bunch of times and
Who's
I'm
on
stuck in his
first?
head.
You who's on first? to her?
No. Because she's there with Ricky,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, but that's Ricky, not Peter.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
This is one of the most. In 1983, I can't imagine how shocking this twist was.
Oh my gosh.
We're used to twists all over the place. Saw he was on the ground the whole time. I mean, there are shit.
Spoilers.
I mean, this is. I don't want to say psycho level twist, but it is damn close.
No,
it is very close.
Because I think you might say the twist saved the whole movie for me.
Yeah.
I was not a happy camper.
That's the sequel.
And Mitch is like, wait for the ending.
That's literally the sequel.
Wait for it. And then I was like, oh, that was good.
No.
I'm thinking like
That was good.
Yeah, your mind, you literally out loud
Because I
said, "Oh my god."
usually can call things early. I did not call this one.
I'm talking like Diabolique, Psycho, Sleepaway Camp, Sixth Sense. These are all in the same conversation.
That's high
for me.
praise.
It is. It's crazy. Oh, the ending. I don't know how I feel about it as an actual message. I think it's also pretty gross, like the rest of the movie. But holy shit, it is compelling.
Well, yeah,
it is compelling.
There are some issues with it if you stop to think of it, particularly through today's lens.
You don't think about it. It's like, this is the end. Holy shit, what just happened?
No, this is just clear. This is more just someone who's had a very traumatic childhood and is obviously messed up from all the ridiculous shit her crazy ass aunt
has made
put
her
through.
do.
Yeah,
it's gross.
Yeah. Well, listen, Nate.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, sometimes things look their darkest before dawn.
Yeah.
You're standing there on a beach, dick just hanging out, holding a severed head.
Yeah.
And a guy with a fake mustache is pointing at you with the flashlight and yelling.
Yeah.
But it could be worse.
Could be worse.
Not that bad.
For me, it's all about perspective. It's what you make of it.
All right. Lisa, how could this be any worse?
So it totally could have been worse if there wasn't a Ricky. If it was just her.
She's just getting bullied the
just
whole
her
time.
And the aunt. She didn't have her cousin, because her cousin at least came to her rescue as much as he could. So I think if there was no Ricky, I think a lot more people would have died probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
I guess Ricky's alive at the end. Is he okay, or is he just like permanently messed up?
Do you think? But Ricky knows that Angela.
No.
Peter,
I'm
right?
saying like physically.
No.
Like he was beaten.
I know
within an inch of his
what you're
life.
saying, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking he knows, right?
No, I don't think so.
he does.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't know.
Because when Angela shows up,
Ricky
doesn't
doesn't know.
to the house. Remember, she's all gauzed and bandaged up, so he can't even really see her.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Angela pulls her her pants down in front of him, he
Don't
wouldn't
tell
know.
Ricky. Ricky doesn't
Well, unless
know.
it's like a Miss Doubtfire situation.
Hello. Sorry.
It's fine.
Wow.
Toodaloo.
You're right.
Oh yeah. What if that was her voice at the end? Chicka chicka. Oh yeah.
No, just it's the record rap. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yikes.
All right. Yeah, Nate, how is this? Worse?
Dude, this is a rough one. It could be worse. The owner could have lived. That guy
the owner, not the cook,
had to die. That guy, he's trying to like hook up with like way too young girls. He's employing a bunch of pedophiles from their conversations. He is covering up child murders and accidents. And then he's accusing 14-year-old boys of killing people to ruin his business. Flawless logic there.
What the hell?
Flawless logic there. And then he like ape slams him until I think he has permanent brain damage. He looked really messed up by the end of that. So if he would have lived and got away somehow, if he didn't die he had to have died in the sequel early, or else terrible. So it could have been worse.
For me, it could have been worse had this movie been just the baseball scene, but for the entire movie.
It's like a league of their own.
Yeah. Or if it was like 30 minutes of them making dream catchers with like the beads and shit.
They played volleyball. There was like a Daria-esque volleyball scene, almost.
No, I mean, I think certainly for the kids that got to leave early, it could be worse. Their parents could have left them there.
They
like
could
the other one.
have terrible parents like the rest of the people that stayed there.
Right.
Well, like all the people who kind of sucked, like their parents were like, they can stay a little longer.
Yeah, that's why those parents are like, we're not coming back from Europe early. You're just going to sit there and hang tight.
Like, oh, we got a lot of barbecuing.
You always over exaggerate.
Mom, there's been 3 murders.
Use a stick. Don't they have plenty of those down there in the woods?
Wow, remember last summer you said all those people were killing you, and we totally didn't believe you. That we don't believe you now anymore. Like,
so Nate, this is a horror movie by definition.
Yeah, this is a camp horror film.
Yes, but could this work as any other movie?
Yes. So the wheel of genres is spinning. So we classify this as what? Camp horror with a tinge of just real gross sexual energy.
Yeah.
But what about instead of that, it was a sci-fi movie? There you go.
Okay.
I did not expect sci-fi movie.
So I'll jump in on this one. Instead of it just being that Peter died,
yeah,
and Angela's really Pete, or Angela died, Peter is Angela.
I got it.
What if instead these were actually two alien kids who can, who are androgynous? They could change their
Gender
sex.
bender?
Yeah, like in a Splice
or Critters.
Or Critter. I was going with Splice, but sure.
Splice meets Critters meets Camp.
Yeah, if it's...
Wow. That is impressive.
Yeah, what about you, Nate?
I think, what if both the kids were on life support after the boating accident? Dad is dead. The mom is somewhere, not in the picture. I don't know what happened. The boyfriend of the dad is there. And he makes the tough decision to take a new cyborg and put both of their consciousnesses in them. Then that person grows up with the crazy aunt. The mind thing in the cyborg is all going crazy, and that leads to the murders of everybody.
Deus Ex Angela?
Deus, yeah. Ex Angela. Yeah, you're right. Deus Ex Angela. That would be awesome and make more sense than this film, which is rare for the Wheel of Genres.
Sometimes it's not about making sense. Sometimes it's about sending a message.
Yeah, that's true. But imagine a cyborg kid going on the fritz because there are two personalities inside of it that are siblings. I mean, that would be nuts. I would love to see that.
Lisa, what about you?
What are these called though? Hold on a second. Do you have a title for yours?
For mine, yours is Deus Ex Angela. That's
mine. Yeah, but what's your title?
No, that is the title. That's the title of the movie.
No, for yours.
Oh, but for mine, I don't.
Yes.
Let's see.
Sleepaway Camp.
That's
good job, Nate.
I'm prompting. I'm giving
Dramatic
you the
pause.
I'm giving you dot.
Angels in the outfield. Oh, wait. Yes, it could be. She's an angel or a demon or something. Yes. And then it's all centered around the baseball game. Boom. Done.
Yeah.
Lisa.
No, I'm good, y'all.
This is a baseball movie.
This.
All right.
A sci-fi baseball movie.
Well, listen,
Field of Dreams-esque, if you will.
Let me ask y'all then, what is your final cut?
Final cut.
All right, Lisa.
Yeah,
unsuspecting victim.
I want to hear this.
Out of 10, we've been waiting for, and we've had this movie.
Oh my goodness.
I was so excited to hear that you watched this.
I have threatened people not to ruin this movie for you.
You really have. And we did a great job because I was not spoiled.
Unlike Angela, because she didn't talk for 3 days. Spoiled. That's a quote from this movie.
Very true.
Oh.
I give the movie a 5 out of 10.
Wow. That is so high.
I give the ending a 9 out of 10.
So the movie was like a 1 or a 2.
The movie was mediocre.
Okay.
It was standard camp slasher film.
Not bad, not great. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
it was all right. It's whatever.
So you like the ending,
Oh man, that ending made the whole movie.
but it doesn't explain anything.
What do you mean it doesn't explain anything?
It doesn't explain anything. Why was she killing everybody? It doesn't explain anything.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
We know why she killed the cook. We know why she killed Judy. We know why she killed.
To
Why?
be truthful, she didn't kill anyone unless they did something to her.
Yeah, but why does her being a boy but growing up as a girl make any of that happen?
Why would her aunt send her back to a camp where
That's what I'm saying.
where his sister died?
I think
And
it's just.
dad.
I think it's just the only thing about that is just because no one expects the girl to be the killer. That's all.
Okay.
I don't think it's because she's a guy. That's why she's
It's
doing it.
It's almost like Mrs. Voorhees wasn't a killer
right. It was
before
it-
then. Oh,
That's
wait.
right. Yeah, that's more what that was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the ending.
5 out of 10. That seems so high.
Without this ending, this movie is not distinguishable from any other camp horror film.
I think it is a little different. The curling iron, the scalding, the most offensive water balloon throws I've ever seen in a film.
If I mentioned those kills and you didn't have this ending, you honestly think you'd be able to name this movie instead of the billion Friday the 13th, the Cropsies, many of these are similar.
I think the grossness of the camp owner by itself is so memorable. I couldn't get over the Mel guy. I still can't I still dislike this guy it's irrational. I don't know why.
Well, but this ending is incredible.
The ending is...
It's why it's a cult classic.
The ending is just one of the most insane endings to a film.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then yet it makes some sense. And it's so unexpected and so bizarre. It's one of the all-time endings of a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of all genres.
No. So I'm giving this movie...
Oh my God, here we go.
7 out of 10.
Wow.
Beehives.
Wow. This is so high. Oh man. Wow. Okay.
The movie, well, because you know why? Because the movie is bad enough that you'll laugh at it, and that part's enjoyable, and then the ending will get you. That's why it's that high.
Okay.
Nate, what are you doing?
I like the movie more than I think you guys do. The actual movie part.
Yeah, that's probably right.
It could have used some Jason Alexander, like in The Burning. If there was a Jason Alexander in this movie, it'd been better. Its camp scenes were worse than The Burning, because The Burning actually had actors and actresses who existed,
and they made a raft,
and they built their own rafts.
Yeah.
So that part was better in terms of just campness. No Kevin Bacon, like in Friday the 13th. The kids are just so young. It's actually interesting because normally they go straight teens.
Right.
They don't have kids who are like, what the kids in the sleeping bags are what, like 12?
Yeah.
Like they are so
bad.
young.
It is bad.
very this
bad.
is just breaking all the rules. That's kind of why I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like these kids are 13. These kids are 14. This is sexual situations for 13-year-olds. What is happening here, right? It's like HBO's Euphoria or whatever that new show is that everyone is all upset about. I like that part. The ending for me is insane. I don't like it maybe quite as much as you guys do, but the ending is absolutely nuts and a must watch for me.
You didn't, with the very first time you watched this, you weren't like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I was. And I watched it with my wife.
So you got to think back to that feeling when you saw it the first time.
Yo, I think back. It is nuts. It's absolutely bonkers. But I like the movie part also. So I like the movie more and the ending a little bit less than you guys, but I'm still going to end at a 7.
Okay.
7 out of 10 face boils. And it was more like 700.
Oh my God. Well, that wraps it up for the first SummerStab episode.
Leading up to my favorite event of the year, SummerSlam. Just kidding. It's Mitch's.
I'm about to say. Yeah. So, again, SummerStab is going to be going for the next 3 more weeks after this.
Yeah, we got them a whole month, baby.
Yeah. And then summer. Now, are we going to... Now, Nate, are you going to come watch SummerSlam?
That is to be determined.
Okay.
I might have to...
I think you need to be
I might have to be curling iron my hair alone in a cabin by myself during that time period.
I mean, I showed you
anything. You're gonna have to go to the social.
I know.
I showed you the Tom Savini mask from Bray Wyatt.
I did see this, and I did think it was good.
Well, next week, our episode 2 is going to be Crawl in theater. So if you have not seen it, go see it. I've heard it's actually pretty cool.
It looks like, and I will use this joke in the next episode, Florida, the movie.
Yes. So right in time for hurricane season, because as soon as that movie came out, there was a hurricane that went up through Louisiana.
It was a hurricane of popular sentiment.
Oh God.
Going for this movie.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Nate, where can they find us?
You can find us at our website at TexasPodcastMassacre.com. Check us out on Twitter at TXPodMassacre. Send us an email if you think somewhere is creepier than a basement, which is the rational person's idea. Send us a message at TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Please give us a review on iTunes. We really appreciate it. And check us out on all your podcast platforms. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your insane aunts about the podcast.
All right, well, that's going to end it for this week's Texas Podcast Massacre. From all of us here, thank you so much for tuning in, and just keep telling yourself, it's only a movie. Good night.
Good night.